There is a tendency in the media to lavish praise on first responders, paying enthusiastic tribute to cops and firefighters when they do their jobs well. But recently, a New Hampshire reporter may have taken her boosterism a bit too far. Adam has more.
Tonight, Manchester neighbors are in shock.
The shooting of two Manchester, New Hampshire police officers was an irresistible local news story. There were heroic cops, an obvious bad guy.
Neighbors described Ian McPherson as a creepy loner.
And best of all, a happy ending.
A positive update on the conditions of both of those officers tonight.
But all that excitement may have gone to WMUR reporter Amy Covino's head. After the two injured officers returned home, a police spokesman emailed local media asking them not to seek interviews. Covino emailed right back saying, "I would take it even further and inform media outlets who violate the request they will be barred from any access to your heroes. Just my 2 cents." That suggestion earned a thank you from Police Chief Nick Willard, who'd recently joined Covino for a Facebook town hall on addiction.
You'll probably recognize this guy, Chief Nick Willard.
But Covino's pro-cop advocacy was ridiculed by media critic Jim Romanesco, who snarked, "TV reporter forgets what her job is all about." When Beat the Press asked Covino and WMUR for comment, they took a pass.
I mean, you'd think that the news director or the general manager or somebody would have said, I mean, she's scolding her colleagues for doing their job. And by the way, often, like, police officers, like a lot of other people involved, would like to talk. How do they know they don't want to talk at some point? And of course they're going to, knock on their doors, and they claim somebody knocked on a kid's window. I don't know if that's true, but
And I've been that person before who's had to go and knock on the door, and you kind of hope, and you're in the back of your mind, maybe they won't answer.
Exactly.
But sometimes they do answer, and they want to talk, and you get an amazing story out of it. I mean, there are ways to do your job respectfully. I do agree, knocking on a child's window might be taking it a little bit too far. But the larger problem of classifying an entire sector of people as heroes, which means they're somehow untouchable. I mean, we've been down that road before, and it's always a problem.
Well, just in Covino's, I don't know if it's in her defense, we don't know that she was calling all police heroes, or the two, who were. She might have been. She might. It's not outside the realm of possibility. That being said, it's probably a good idea to not give media management advice to the people that you cover, especially if you're apparently part of an open email chain with other reporters.
It was just her 2 cents.
It struck me that she was referring to the two officers as heroes and nobody else. Nevertheless, even if your news organization decides to go along with the request from the police and not bug these people, the statement was just, you read it and you just cringe reading it. It was, why are you doing this? I mean, your news organization either has to decide that you're going to go along with the request or not go along with the request. But other than that, just that's enough.
So this is what, when people get mad and say journalists are in the tank for somebody, this is the clear example. Okay, clearly she's in the tank. There's no other way to read that. I thought it was so inappropriate. And there is a way for her to express her support for the police officers without going to that level. And I will go a step further. You said most times people, it's been my experience as a reporter, 9 times out of 10, there's always a 10th one, and I give them due credit. I try to be respectful. 9 times out of 10, everybody wants to talk. I just don't know people in the worst situations, in the situations where, like you, Joanna, you're dreading. I don't even want to call you and ask you. One time at ABC, I sobbed on the phone. And you know what the woman said? "This is your job. You're supposed to ask
Really?
me." Yes, she did. Wow. Yes.
It can be also a very moving experience for for families. This is a way to put a face on a victim so that the victim is not just the statistic, is not just the person who this bad thing happened to in the news. To be able to flesh out a person's life can be therapeutic for the person, just can feel empowering. Sometimes it works.
I think it's so well worth understanding the full story. So there was a shooting and this guy's calling somebody a creepy pervert. Okay, so let's put it all in context. Like what really happened there in the moment. And that's what local reporting is all about, by the way. So the fact that you don't have the access to their stories, if they decide not to, fine. I not bothering you.
Exactly.
But
give them the opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.